Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Vitt-Charcha. Today we are honored to have Mr. Koshy Thomas with us. He is a partner at KPMG in risk consulting. Sir has an experience of over 14 years in enterprise risk management, credit and risk assessment, risk transformation, internal audit and process reviews. And we are also proud to share that Sir is an alum of NIBM from batch PGDM 2009. We welcome you to this episode, sir. Sir, so I would like to directly address the question. What are the challenges that you think that organizations are facing nowadays in terms of maintaining compliances, and how do you think they should address them?
Yeah. Thank you so much for the welcome. If you look at the industry at large, we are seeing a significant technological disruption, and the overall industry itself is changing significantly. What does that also mean is that we are also seeing a lot of disruptive models coming in. Now, if we allow the disruptive models to grow in an uncontrolled manner, then it could be catastrophic. So to make sure that we got a right set of balance around it, we can see that now regulators are slightly ahead of the curve with respect to coming up with the right set of regulations to make sure that some of these changes are controlled in the right form and shape, to make sure that number one, customer is protected, number two, the industry balance is taken care of, and also make sure that investor protection is also taken care of. And with that, we've seen a slew of measures by the regulators, by way of introducing new regulations, and also by way of revamping the existing regulation, be it RBI, be it SEBI, be it IRDA. We are seeing a lot of changes in there. And also another interesting thing that we are now seeing is that in addition to new regulations, we are also seeing partnership by regulators with the industry bodies. Now, what will that help is basically to make sure that regulators are aware about the changes upfront and are also able to guide the industry players in the right way, so that both of them are working together in a very controlled manner. So that's what you're seeing, at least from an industry perspective. Now, when you look at challenges per se, it's very difficult to say what are the kind of key challenges that most of the organizations are facing. But maybe we can categorize them into different, right? So you got one of those evolved set of regulated entities like a bank. Then you got the second set of entities, which could be the NBFCs or even the new age fintech players were there. So depending upon the maturity of some of these players who are there in the industry for quite some time, they all have evolved compliance management mechanisms. Whereas the new age organizations, what you're seeing is that they are still grappling ensuring compliance with those requirements. Now, and if you look at even the bigger entities, one of the core challenges that we see is certainly of the data lineage. Now, what essentially data lineage is that how does the data get captured till the time it finally reaches the end consumption? It could be for the purpose of your financial reporting, it could be for the purpose of your management reporting, it could be for the purpose of regulatory reporting, right? Having the right set of data available at any point in time for the purpose of consumption and reporting seems to be a challenge across the industry, and for that we are seeing a lot of focus being there at this point. Right? Also, another industry challenge we are seeing is with respect to the industry, the attrition levels which are there. We are seeing moments between people moving between organizations, new opportunities coming in, moving, so on and so forth, which is also impacting a bit of industry knowledge and know about compliance and so on and so forth. There is a need for continuous training, making sure that people are aware about what the changes are, making them accountable. So that's something we are seeing as something that needs to, that's a focus area right now. And also another area we are seeing is with respect to the risks that are creeping in from the third parties. So it's no more that bank is working on its own. There are third parties who are involved. Now all these third parties bring in a lot of risks per se. So that also leads to a lot of compliance exposures and compliance risk events for the banks and the regulated entities. Now, while staying there, what is best to look at is to say that how do we now make sure that the ecosystem is even stronger. So looking at some of the solutions, at least the ones that we see people are working on, one is to make sure that there are more and more continuous control mechanisms which are there. It's basically monitoring mechanism, which would be leveraging a lot in data analytical tools, data model, so on and so forth, so that the tracking and monitoring is more proactive rather than reactive. What the benefit would be to say that even if there are any kind of compliance risk exposures the company is facing or the bank is facing, they'll be aware about it upfront and then act on it rather than wait for something to happen and then act on it. Right? So that's something we are seeing most of the players are now moving towards. The second thing is certainly working on the overall control and compliance risk control culture. There is a strong focus on making that even strong. The benefit would be that everyone in the organization, be the tone at the top or even people at different levels, be it the senior management, mid-level management, and even the person who's actually doing the activity, everyone is aware about what is the need of compliance, why it is important, and what that person is accountable and responsible for. That kind of culture building is something that we are seeing most of the players are focusing on to build further. And a lot of investment that we are seeing with respect to compliance tools, management, so on and so forth. And historically, what we've also seen is that there has been not significant amount of investment in control, compliance, risk, so on and so forth. And focus has always been the business side, right? But slowly we are seeing the transition now. Regulators has been strongly pushing the agenda to make sure that there is enough and more investment in that area. Globally, as well as domestically, we are seeing more and more investments coming towards into the compliance and the risk domain. Hopefully, some of these steps which are being taken will make sure that the overall compliance, risk, and the culture and the mechanism and the framework is robust to meet all the requirements which are there.
Lastly, sir, I have to ask, how does it feel to be back at NIBM and interacting with us junior batches, seeing the changes at your college?
It feels amazing to come back to the campus. It feels really nostalgic to be along with all of you here. Certainly, living those days, going back to those age when we used to be, sitting in these classes and studying. Also, the fact that NIBM has one of the best campus, best faculty, best curriculum for the financial service industry. So certainly, I feel really glad to be back here and talking to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being a part of our series as well.